So this is Get Real with Amy and Christina. This is our podcast that we focus on real estate, but also local community, give some information and some advice, and
Have fun.
have fun and get real.
Yeah.
We named it Get Real, like the play on real estate, but then also the
play on We Are Real.
yes,
And
this is
we
just
talk about
us.
real. We're just
Yes.
chit chatting.
Yes, just chit-chatting. So Christine and I are both independent agents. We work for different brokerages, but we live in the same community, and we like to collaborate when possible and share information and resources.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so this one we're going to talk about marketing.
It's a big one.
It is a big one, and we're going to try and fit it in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
But
I'll pinch Amy if she's talking
yes,
too much.
yeah, and that is that's the norm. That tracks for me. So I would say for marketing. So the reason why, so I brought up this topic that I wanted to chat with Christine about on the podcast, because I feel like what used to work for real estate marketing years ago, I don't find is as relevant anymore.
It's a very, very, very small margin of people that still read the newspaper.
Right. So agents before used to market in the newspaper, any listings they have, and some still do. And some, to be fair, like the Wellington Advertiser, we get that here. There's some properties in there, and In the Hills magazine.
Yeah.
I do look at
I do look at
those.
too.
But I feel like in this past market, we had to really, like, by the time that you put it in the paper, it would be gone.
Yeah.
Now that's a different story. You can actually list it, and for most of the time, it would probably still be relevant when the paper hits and you see the property is available. But I find less and less people are not really getting their information they're not reading the newspaper as much.
Yep.
So I feel like, and there used to be a lot of like print marketing in terms of you'd mail out postcard to
just
houses
listed
in the
or
neighborhood.
sold.
Yes. That is high cost because Canada Post, unfortunately, for those of that maybe are listening, our worldwide audience that are listening from other,
You never know.
it's notorious in this like Ontario and in Canada that our postage costs are quite high.
Yeah.
So not only is it quite expensive, a lot of times it's no longer relevant. If the property has already sold by the time that you send out the just listed postcards, it's not as effective.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, when I get anything in the mail, if it's a flyer, it goes right to the recycling, unfortunately.
I agree. I'd much rather, I know you're the same, Christina, but my marketing dollars, I'd rather reach out to my local community, be involved in my local community.
Put the money back into the resources for the community.
Yes, and that way too for marketing, it's double fold, because let's say I'm seeing somebody at a local event, I'm telling them that I have a property coming soon on the market, or it's this and this, and they're going to tell their circle. So I find that gets out the word, I think just as well as somebody that potentially is just putting postcards or dropping off mailers on people's mailboxes or on their front porch. So the marketing that we used to have before, the information wasn't as accessible. So listings now, people, it's all over social media, as well as you can go to the Realtor website to find information about it, as well as you can go to realtor.ca that has all the information on it, and then all the apps, House Sigma, Zoocasa, whatever.
You name it, Realtor.ca.
Yes. So buyers and sellers have never had as much information at their fingertips in terms of the local real estate market or any real estate market. They've never had access to that before.
Right.
So it used to be like your realtor would print off, we're going to go look at houses today. They'd tell you what
Here's
kind of houses.
our pile of homes.
Yes, we're going to go look, and then you'd give them. That's not the way it is anymore.
Right.
Oftentimes buyers will find a property. I didn't even know they were interested or even
Yeah,
looking.
so many times that's happened.
Yes, and then they'll reach out and say, this property is the one I want.
Yeah,
I want to go. And I'm like, I didn't even know you were in the market for a house. Okay, let's go.
They're doing the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Behind the scenes.
And I find for a lot of buyers, it's a hobby, which it was one of mine too. It's now my job, but it was my hobby too. That
to just look
I love
what's
to
on the
look
market.
what was on the market and just see what's available, see what houses like mine were going for, just to be up to date on that. So I find the knowledge is there. So to me, as an agent, and from what I see in the market, the houses that do well on the market are not only presented well, so meaning they're clean, they're freshly painted, they have some staging items.
They're ready to sell.
They're ready to sell. And they're also marketed really well. So we have some local agents in our area that have kind of been trailblazers in this market for making sure their properties are front and center. I would like to say that we are in that category, not necessarily trailblazing, but making sure that our properties that we have listed are top of mind for people within our sphere, but also making sure that those properties, when they're getting published to all these different sites, they look their best in the marketing. So can an agent that's been in the industry for years be up to date on marketing and the current techniques that seem to sell properties and get your property in front of the most eyes at a time? Can they still do that? Absolutely. I've seen some agents that have been in the industry for 20 years that have great marketing.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure they do it themselves, but they have made sure that they've invested in either a team member or, outsource that they hire a great photographer, videographer. They have floor plans for the property. They have interactive, website that lists the property. Their social media is up to date and current and consistent, that they are consistently posting to their audience. So if you see something, I know we're both of the same mindset on our social media platforms. We are not only having some personal content so people get to know us a little bit more, but also local content and of our properties that are listed, so that people don't see our names and are like, oh, she's posting another real estate tip, or because it's
not just about real estate though, right?
It's about the
community.
person.
It's about the person.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would not say I'm hip happening on TikTok is a challenge for me. I like to watch it, but to do videos, some of the people on TikTok are ruthless. So I find TikTok a little harder for me. It's still a learning curve.
Yeah.
And by the time I learn it, it's probably there's
going to be a next
thing will be out there. So I definitely focus my efforts on places that I feel like get the most eyes for the demographic of people that are looking at the properties.
The Facebook, the Instagram.
Yes. Yeah. So for our communities, it seems to be definitely Facebook, Instagram, and people that would be looking in our communities. That's the demographic. But I think you have to be very careful in this day and age for selecting a realtor, one that has made that investment either themselves or, as I said, via a team or outsourcing, that they make sure that they are up to date on their marketing so that you're getting the most eyes on your property.
And I think it's just like with any profession, you want the most current, right?
Yes.
I wouldn't be going to, I don't know, let's say get my hair done and going to, not that there's not something wrong with it, but using, those caps that we used to use to highlight our hair?
Yes. And then
maybe people still use them, but
there's different techniques now.
Yeah, yes. That would not pull through the hair. So it's kind of similar, with a dentist, with a doctor.
You want somebody that
high tech.
I would think
newer things.
Yes.
There's learning. We take the time to take courses, to learn, to refresh our memory, to keep us up to date, so that we can market the property, so that we can sell the property, so that we can please, and keep our customers and clients satisfied.
Yes,
I think that is with any profession that's something that I would look for sure.
And I think there is a balance now between hiring somebody, so let's say an agent that maybe doesn't have as much experience as somebody else, but is up to date on marketing, is, you know, very invested. We have in our brokerages, like, so most agents, so I'm with iPro Realty Brokerage, and Christina's with Remax.
Yeah.
We have a wealth of resources in our brokerages that provide any gaps in experience or knowledge.
Yeah.
So if there's something that I maybe haven't encountered before in the years that I've been doing real estate, I have somebody within my brokerage that I can go to and say, hey, can you help me with this transaction? I loop my sellers in and say, hey, I'm just going to loop in one of my brokerage people to just, you know, help, you know, track what we're doing here, just to make sure that everything is on point. I find you can get the resources and help as an agent for that type of thing, any gaps in experience or knowledge, much more than social media. Like my brokerage, they are a brokerage that even before the pandemic, we had like mobile. We were all set up to do mobile, like webinars,
you guys like
everything.
are more of like a cloud brokerage, right? Not so much cloud, but like
but
a lot of your resources are.
They definitely, as like a technology based brokerage.
Yeah,
we have the Orangeville office and Shelburne office that are in person offices, but I very much can function without even going into the office if I don't need to. And I feel like Remax has done that too. Some brokerages had to catch up a little bit during the pandemic when everything was, you had to do it virtually. But to fill that gap for social media, like I couldn't today. So even before I became an agent, I was building up my social media profile knowing that I was going to become an agent. And I wanted to make sure that lots of people, hopefully, were watching my page, were watching the things that I was posting. And I was trying to keep the content fresh and interesting so that when I did have a listing, people were engaged and already following my page and spreading the word about that.
And like, I know like I spend a lot of time on social media and you do as well, because it's such a big presence in marketing our properties and marketing things that we want our clients to see, or building relationships, you know, like commenting on people's posts, sharing people's posts local in our community. You do a fabulous job at running your Grand Valley, I Love Grand Valley page, which is super knowledgeable.
Thank you.
And I mean, even before I was a realtor, I was on it, and it's just nice for people to be able to come to a spot and see things that are going on in the community, like we share on our Facebooks and our Instagrams. It takes a lot of time and effort.
Yes,
but I feel like the reward for what we can help our clients see, and
there's investment.
There's investment.
That. Yes.
Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, there's that annoying Christina sharing 500 posts a day. Well, I'm sharing them to bring awareness, and if I'm annoying you, guess what? You looked at my post.
Yes, the exposure was there, so which is good. And then I also feel like for marketing too, that's getting your home prepared for the market as well too. I put that into marketing as well too, because I am preparing your home to look its best in the photos, which is going to be the first impression. Before people would drive by and see the property and see the for sale sign, and that was their first impression. Now it is like, I would say 99% is, that's not, I don't have that math just in the back, but
it's just an Amy stat.
It's
not
an
a real
Amy
stat.
99% of people see it all online.
Absolutely.
So
and they've chosen to go and, you know, contact their local agent or dismiss because the pictures weren't great.
Right? And I know, like, so Christina helped me at my last listing and then our listing together. Before the photographer came, we were there for like an hour and a half sweating, preparing the homes to make sure that they looked their best. So like making little folds in the toilet paper, like little things that potentially the photographer might not catch, but that it's presenting well for those pictures so that each picture has the best opportunity to present that room and that space and the exterior, interior in the best light possible.
Yeah, and I find like you still do see on realtor.ca like...
Oh, with like the photographer or the realtor.
The bathroom pictures.
Or toilet seats up, garbage cans, like
just spend the time, find an agent that does what they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
That's why we get paid. That's what we should be doing. You're not asking too much of us.
No.
Like that's part of our marketing is to market the property properly and not have myself in the background. While I'm taking pictures of the bathroom.
Yes. Well, and I think back in the day that didn't matter as much. When you look at past listings, like us realtors have access to that, you would see like 3 or 4 pictures of the property.
Of the crooked property.
Yes. But that was because you would gloomy. Go see it in person. That was your first impression for your clients. It was just more for the realtors to have, this is what this property looks like. Yep. It's got the bed, bath. We're going to take them to that property. Now our clients look at everything and see that all in advance. So that needs to be on point, in my opinion. So, and you don't get a second chance at that first impression, just like in life. That first impression needs to be on. So I would make sure, if it was me, I would make sure that the marketing that the real estate agent that I was looking into and wanting to interview or what have you is engaging.
Is on point.
Yes. Is relevant to this market, is updated. And on a side note of that they do invest in, you can tell the difference of real estate agents that have invested in a high-end photographer and ones that have paid for somebody that maybe doesn't do real estate photography and they've just a friend that did. Or like even in our industry, there's a range of photographers that charge different prices. There's ones that are kind of at the lower end. They do kind of basic packages and their pictures, in my opinion, are very basic. And they maybe not offer room tours, videos. It's just basic pictures. And then there's ones that are like luxury photographers that not every house needs, but they offer like everything in our magazine worthy listings. To me, that's your luxury listings. You should be spending that money on those photographers. And then there's the ones in the middle, depending on your preference and what have you. But as realtors, like that's what we're paying. That's what we're investing in. And if your realtor isn't investing in that, and that's the first impression, and that's the picture they're going to put out to all their social media, if it's not good, that's the foundation. And if they're not going to invest in that, that to me is a consideration of how quickly your home potentially will sell.
Yep, I agree.
There are some homes that it doesn't matter. Like they're a unique home. They're very coveted. You could put a picture that you just quickly took as you drove by and it would still sell for top dollar quickly. Those are very rare and they're the exception.
Yeah.
The rest of properties, even if you think your home is lovely, it needs to be, in my opinion, marketed well and with high quality pictures and marketing media material for it to attract as many buyers as possible.
Yep, I agree.
So just, we're going to wrap that up. We're close. We did close on the time.
Just a little bit over.
Just a little bit.
Main point kind of thing. Make sure who you hire is following current practices, just like with any other profession.
Yes.
You want to make sure you're getting the most for your money. Yeah. This is your home. This is your investment.
And side note, sorry, just one thing. Some of our industry attracts sometimes people with egos, like that they want the marketing focused on them. They like the extra attention and they make it all about them in the marketing. I would steer away from that as well too. That's just my personal opinion. Some people like it. But I saw one person that did an amazing video about the property, but I don't even remember what the property was. The video I remember.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it was amazing. They did a phenomenal job.
But it was about the realtor.
I think they're in the wrong industry. Like, I think they need to be an actor or an influencer. Like, they did a great job. I still don't remember that property. Whereas another realtor did a video about, it was a country property, a horse farm. They had the video where they had the owner or somebody was willing to ride one of the horses and showed the paddock.
Yeah.
Like, it was lovely. And I remember that horse farm. Like, I know where it is. I know. And just from watching that video. So the realtor did the introduction. They showed the barn. They showed the property.
It's now a core memory.
Yes, that's right. So that needs to be done well as well. And it can't, like, if you see their page is all about them and doesn't really highlight the property, like I should be in the background when I'm marketing a property, in my opinion. The property needs to be the highlight in the feature.
Yeah.
So hope that helps. If you have any questions, please let us know. And everybody have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.